not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well, the majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you. You are a blessed people. You're the most talented on earth, and you are still grateful. That is why upon winning in their game, you always thank God. Tonight I would like to ask one favor of you. Imagine what we'll all be like in our own game. Peace. Love.
Welcome back to Rap Vibes TV, but before I get into this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. Prince wasn't just a musical genius, he was a prophet. Way back in the 90s and early 2000s, he was already warning us about the music industry, about powerful men in suits, and about black executives who were acting just like the white corporations they once rebelled against. He famously fought with Warner Brothers to gain ownership of his masters, the rights to his music. And when they refused, Prince took to the stage with the word slave written across his face. He said, "If you don't own your masters own you."
Such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work, I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise, and they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today. They're not going to exist much longer. It's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship, right? Because ultimately it keeps us apart, and it keeps the people in power in charge of us. So ultimately we're going to have to learn how to be together and become one people. What I've been doing recently is studying the scriptures as deep as I can, so that that's what gives me the optimism. And I would advise anybody, if you want to feel like there's some hope in this joint, pick up the book and read it and get somebody to actually show you what's going on in it, because it's a real thing. You don't hear a lot of young people talking about things like I talk about, because they really haven't lived. They haven't gone through a lot of experiences yet, and we can't really expect them to. It's just not all a party, alcoholism and promiscuity. Get some elders up in here and let's talk about all this. Distribution service. What do we really need record companies for? Really.
At the time, the people thought he was eccentric, paranoid even. But now, with everything that's coming out about Diddy and the quiet power moves from Jay-Z over the years, fans are starting to say, Prince was right. Let's talk about something that most fans forget. Prince and Jay-Z were not friends. Back in 2015, when Jay launched Tidal, he tried to license Prince's full music catalog, and Prince shut it down. He said flat out, "I don't trust Jay-Z. I don't trust any of those guys." And when people asked why, Prince told them to look at who really owns the platforms. He warned artists that just because another black man is in charge, it doesn't mean he has their best interests at heart. Prince said Jay-Z was playing the same game as the labels he once fought, trying to gain control over other artists' music in the name of freedom. And that rubbed Prince the wrong way. Now here's where things get deeper. Prince always kept his distance from Diddy too. He allowed Diddy to host a party at his house once, but he didn't even show up.
The first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party. That is the one thing that I thought was odd, because you know, I came one time with my security, and no other security other than Diddy's security is allowed to be inside the building. I mean, I saw Jay-Z and TD Jakes in there. Every major celebrity you can think of who may or may not get along may be on the other side of that gate with no security. And so now, as you see this unfold, my wonder is, well, why weren't people able to have their protection with them when they were in the room? But the one thing I will add that, you know, people don't want to talk about is Diddy is not the only person that has these parties where they have people wrangling a bunch of women and there's nobody carding at the door. There's no regulation, right? And the reason is because these guys want to have a bunch of women around. And what happens when you mix that with a bunch of liquor and other things, when the regular party goes home, what happens after everybody's gone?
At another event, Prince refused to let Diddy cross the velvet rope. The message was clear: you're not my kind of person. Why? Because Diddy, like Jay-Z, represented a different side of the industry. One that was about money, flash, control, and maybe manipulation. Over the years, Diddy and Jay-Z got closer and closer, partnering on events, business moves, and even attending Rock Nation brunches like family. So now, with all these lawsuits pouring out against Diddy and people starting to question the whole empire, it makes you wonder, did Prince see this coming? Did he know these men were part of the same machine he fought to escape? Now, let's be clear. Prince died in 2016 from a reported accidental overdose of fentanyl. But to this day, fans question how a man who avoided hard drugs, who owned all his masters, who kept full control of his home, vault, and catalog, could suddenly die with no one around to help.
One thing that, you know, kind of spooked me about it all was he has a song called Let's Go Crazy.
Yeah.
And it says, don't let the elevator bring us down.
And he died.
One time when I was with him privately, he said, you know what the elevator is, right?
No.
I said, no, what's the elevator? He said, well, the elevator is the devil, right? Oh. It scared me. You know, I don't like to talk like that, but he said that. And so for me, it was like really haunting when I read that he was found in an elevator.
So what do you think he meant by that?
Did he have health problems?
That I don't know, right? What I know is that he was really health conscious. He was a vegan. He didn't abuse alcohol. I didn't know of him abusing drugs. He worked out, you know, so, you know, that also really concerned me because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take care of yourself and you die so young? You know, it really
that's what's so frightening to many people.
There's no proof, no conspiracy solved. But people are starting to say Diddy was close to Jay-Z. Jay-Z had business friction with Prince. Diddy and Prince never vibed. So, who benefited when Prince was gone? Let's not forget that after his death, his music got released on Tidal anyway, even though he explicitly refused that deal while he was alive. So ask yourself, was Prince silenced? Or was he just too powerful, too independent, too truthful for the system to tolerate? What do y'all think? Was Prince really ahead of his time? Did he see through Diddy and Jay-Z before anybody else did? And is it possible that the very people he warned us about are the ones who now control the music he died fighting for? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button if you feel Prince's spirit still lives, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Peace.